25. My name is Molly Thompson-Smith, and I'll be one of your hosts today.
And my name is Zoe Wood, and I will be your other host for our final here in the depot in Manchester. And here you see our under-17 finalists coming out onto the mats.
Ladies and gentlemen, our under-17 finalists.
And here we have in front of us, you can see, we have in reverse order, we have got Charlotte Wilcox, Maya Chapman, Brooke McKean, Bella Ryder, Seren Wills, Maya Gallagher, Florence Natal, and Isabella Rinaldi.
And for our male under-17 start list, we've got Ruben Hayward, Kit Watson-Evans, Toma Kroom, Spike Forward, Javier Seacombe, Tom Buchnecht, Louis Cooley, and Isaac Sutton.
And if you tuned in earlier, they put in a great performance on their semi-final routes. We saw some action up on the head wall, just missing out on tops for the under-17s, but they were pretty close. Very close, yeah.
I'm pretty sure Isaac Sutton was eyeing up that last hold, Louis not far behind him. So I think it'll be really tight between those two.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how they get on. Our athletes are currently having their observation period, which lasts 6 minutes. And they have a route setter alongside them, so they can ask any questions regarding kind of like more technical things. So which holds are in, if there's anything out of bounds, anything beyond tape. The rope is through all of the quick draws as well, so the athletes can see which quick draws they require to clip. You can see them route reading there together. You know, many of them have probably been at competitions together before, trained before, so they're used to working together.
So Zoe and I are your hosts today. Zoe is an international national route setter. She actually set for the British Bouldering Championships a couple of weeks ago, so I'm feeling very lucky to be joined by Zoe, who's got all of the insider route setter knowledge.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here with you, but also just to get to kind of relax a little bit and see the competition from a slightly different perspective.
Yeah, not your usual seat, huh?
No. And it's funny not quite having that insider's knowledge on what we've got in store for us. It's nice to get to leave a bit for.
You've not got FOMO.
No.
Not this time.
Not this time. No, although they're amazing, they're a lot of hard work, and it's quite nice to have just kind of rocked up and get to see the athletes put on the show. And so the athletes have about 1 minute left, and they'll be eking out that time to really try and learn these routes. 6 minutes must go by pretty quickly when you're trying to absorb all that information and then make sure that it's ingrained in your head for when you go back into isolation.
Yeah, for sure. But unlike the semi-final, the gap between observation and the athletes actually climbing is a little bit less. So hopefully they'll be able to remember a lot more of the detail when it's time for them to come out.
Yeah, that's very true. And I guess kind of they don't quite know how long they have, so they need to be ready, don't they?
Yeah, for sure. Unlike boulder, where you've got a set like start time, I guess not so much for finals in boulder actually, but with lead it's kind of just whenever it's your time. Like there's no guarantee as to what time you'll be out on the mats, so you've got to be ready for any time possibly.
Yeah, and especially if that route has been over.
I know, I guess you can get a lot of information by the speed at which the round progresses. Like if everyone's coming back in, or if it's moving quickly, then it's obviously a hard route or has a low crux. So yeah, there's a lot of information to be gained by even just the pace.
Trying to not let that mess with your head game.
Definitely. But it looks like the starts of our routes here today are quite straightforward, nothing too evil or mean from the route setters. They've been relatively kind.
That's the thing as well with the final. The route setters will want, like, this is about the athletes and they want them to be able to shine. And so whilst we want to split and get result and see where people come, we also want to see people doing as much climbing as possible. So we want to get people as high up that wall.
Yeah, so as a route setter, when you're going to set a final for a league comp, what are you looking to achieve with your routes?
I think, like, ideal scenario is you get the best climber topping the route.
Yeah.
And then from there, we have a lovely spread down, like kind of like a move or two splitting everyone, but kind of like everyone is getting fairly high up. I think that's where you really get to, like, get the most out of the climb. It's great when you can set loads of different moves and you want to see the athletes on them, and the athletes are here to climb and they want to climb as much as possible.
Yeah, for sure, I guess. So like a nice progressive route where you really get to see the fittest, strongest lead climber shine.
Yeah, with loads of different types and styles thrown in there as well. And so if you're weak at one style, then unfortunately you get spat off. The other thing, obviously, also to be careful about is that it's not too easy. It'd be like fairly anticlimactic, and I don't think very fair on the climbers either if we saw lots of tops. So it's pretty hard to get that level right, and it's a real skill that you hone in over like quite a few years of setting competitions to get that level. But that's where having a team with lots of different experience on it really comes into its own, because although maybe you put these holds up in a pair or on your own, the consensus is a team one. And so having all of those different people on the team with different amounts of experiences really allows you to like fine tune and get that level right for the routes.
So whilst we've got a minute, let's talk about the route setting team, shall we? You probably know them a lot better than I do. You've worked with pretty much all of them before.
There's a few new ones actually. We've got a guest setter from America over.
Very exciting.
Yeah, we're very lucky. We've started this year running a bit of an exchange program. I think when you can set in other countries, you can learn a bit more about what's going on.
And you went to the States last year to set for the US lead national.
Yes.
How was that?
It was honestly, I was pretty apprehensive. I think it's always a bit scary setting with a completely new team and a new place, but you know what?
And for one of the biggest national championships there probably is.
Yeah, for sure. But the people were so lovely. They were so welcoming. I felt straight like at home straight away, and yeah, it was one of the best setting experiences I reckon I've ever had. It honestly felt like a bit of a setting holiday. So I would recommend it. Anyone out there? If you like route setting, go and set in the States.
Amazing. Yeah, well, I'm sure that you learned a lot on that, and you know, they're all just like in climbing, we all have different cultures, and that is reflected in our climbing styles, the way we work. I'm sure that's the same for route setting, and I wonder, you know, what influence our American setter has had on this competition.
Yeah, for sure. I think, you know, the more diverse the setting team is, the more like different things people bring, the better the routes become. So I'm sure having him there will have significantly, you know, only made the comp better. I think kind of like, obviously there's small like differences that maybe we do in different countries and stuff, and if we can share those, then we're only bringing more ideas to the table.
Yeah, and that's only a good thing.
Exactly.
So on the rest of the team, who else have we got?
We've got a pretty stacked team. So our head setter, Max Ayrton, he is also an IFSC setter. He's been setting lead and boulder internationally, which is pretty cool. He's kind of the chief, and he looks after us all, which is great. We also have got Diane Genoux, who's an international setter, sets for lots of lead World Cups. So another great kind of like contribution to the team. And we have Dave Barons, who is an ex-competitor.
Yes,
who's a very
many years competing with Dave.
Yeah, exactly.
But I guess we'll come back to the route setting team at some point. We have our first athletes out under the lead wall, and that is Ruben Hayward for the male under 17 category and Charlotte Wilcox for our female category.
Here we go, kicking off our final today. How exciting!
Very exciting. We've waited all day for this.
All day. Patiently waiting.
Just having a little look before they get on the wall, just a little refresh of the memory. It's not been too long, so there we are. Charlotte's on the wall and starting her final climb.
Sam Whitaker there on the decks, getting it pumping, trying to get these climbers as high as possible.
Yeah, it definitely makes a big difference, the atmosphere and the music
and the lights.
Yeah. It looks fantastic. This is a brand new climbing centre here in Manchester, the new big depot, and they have certainly pulled out all the stops to make this such a spectacle.
Yeah, and it's full as well. It's been great to see the amount of kind of people that have come out to support, it really adds to the atmosphere, being able to kind of like have a good viewing and hear the crowd behind you.
So our climbers making their way up steadily. The routes look, as you said, quite progressive, quite steady so far, which is a nice start to this final.
Yeah, we've seen some like fairly conventional climbing so far, which is nice. I think the climbers will appreciate that. They want to just like, you want to start and not feel too unnerved. You want to like just get going, get chugging along.
Flow going.
Yeah.
And Charlotte's just approached this blue cross. Now, if you haven't seen a blue cross before in a climbing competition, that blue cross symbolises that you must clip the clip that has another blue cross next to it at that point before you can progress any further. You are not allowed to climb past that hold without having clipped. So Charlotte did a great job. She got that clip in, and now she is into this feet first section.
Yeah, we had a little bit of insider's knowledge to say that there's a lot of feet first moves to look out for in this finals, which is pretty cool. And Charlotte really making the most of it, which is great. Love it when you can get all 4 points on and have a bit of a shakeout.
Oh yeah, it's like a really fun rest as well as a useful one. And Ruben also making his way through that feet first section, and he is right in the middle of the steep section, so this is where all the most physical moves will be on this route. So come on, Ruben.
Come on. Oh, and Charlotte just slipping off there. She like held that crimp. I thought she had it, but just let go at the last second. Meanwhile, Ruben is giving it such a good fight. He trains at Oakwood, which is renowned for its good bouldering. So maybe we'll struggle with the pump a little bit here, but he is giving it such a good fight.
Oh, and he makes a great move to that blocked crimp. That is a really cheeky thing from the route setters to block a crimp. It's hard enough as is, but why not make it even a little bit harder?
It really forces you to kind of like go to it in a controlled manner.
Which of course when you're pumped is quite difficult. But well done, Ruben, for sticking that move to the block crimp and just kind of not quite having enough beans or gas left in the tank to do quite a physical jumpy campus move out to that shoulder.
Yeah, for sure. That looked like you kind of left no room for being tired. You needed to be super engaged in that shoulder.
But yeah, great first effort from our first athletes out on the wall.
So the athletes in this final are coming out in reverse order from how they qualified, following on from semi-finals.
Which one do you want closer to 3?
We have 8 athletes in total.
So we had 16 in the semi-final this morning, and we whittled them down to the top 8. And all of these athletes are of course competing for the title of British champion, but also for a place on the team. on the British climbing team for this year and potentially international competition spaces.
Yeah, it's really kind of, there's a lot riding on this competition for these athletes in terms of what happens with their, how their competition schedule this summer. And it's really cool to see this league comp be kind of like, often the league champs doesn't fall in a time of year where all the athletes can come, and so it's great to see British league champs, which has all of the big names at it.
Yeah, as it's used...
Minus, the biggest name of all, obviously, MTS.
Next year you'll see me on the wall, hopefully. But yeah, it's great to see probably the most stacked British League Climbing Championships field we've ever seen. It was the same at British Bouldering Championships a couple of weeks ago. We had Olympic champions, Olympic finalists, several British champions. So, the field, it is tough out there. It really is anyone's to win. And we'll definitely see a new female champion.
Yeah, because the old one sat next to me. No, and it's super exciting to be in a new venue with a new format with like all of the biggest names here. It really does feel like a fresh kind of start on the British, lead climbing, British lead comp climbing scene. I'm really excited.
Yeah, me too. And I'm excited to see how Kit Watson-Evans gets on for the under 17 males and for Maya Chapman in our female category.
Maya put in a great effort on the semi-final. Kind of like she fought her way onto that comp wall, which we really didn't see many climbers get to.
Now these athletes have had a little bit of time off. They finished their semi-final round at about midday, so they've had about 5 hours of rest, time to reset mentally and physically. So let's hope they've got some energy left for these final routes.
Yeah, and we saw earlier kind of the first section of both of these routes. You should just be like kind of a bit more kind of climbing, get a nice flow on, get ready to give it a good fight a bit higher up.
Yeah, as an athlete, kind of the perfect introduction to your final route.
Yeah, you don't want to be thrown off early on, even if maybe it physically isn't that hard. If there's something a bit weird or a bit scary, I can imagine that could mess with your head a little bit.
Definitely. But both athletes looking really calm and collected. Hopefully it continues that way. Kit, a member of the depot team, hopefully at home on this lead wall here.
Kit maybe looking a little bit stressed in that position, but he looks like a fighter to me.
Yeah. Come on, Kit.
And we spoke about this earlier on the screen. I don't think you can quite appreciate how steep this section of wall is, especially where Kit is climbing. You can just see there, we're trying to swing that foot onto the hold. I think it's like super core intensive and like pretty leg intensive as well. I mean, all those aspects could get drained.
Yeah, we climbed on this wall a couple of weeks ago and both of us were quite surprised at how steep it actually was.
Even like swinging around on Jug's felt nails to me.
Yeah. Maya into that feet first section and just having a chill out, but we just lose Kit there. I think his foot popped, but it looked like maybe he'd used up quite a lot of energy in that section before, which is probably what the route setters wanted.
Yeah. Maya on the drop down section. I love that. I love that they've incorporated a bit of down climbing into the route. I think that's cool, and I think it's great to have a venue where you can really make the most of the wall by weaving the routes around. I think it gives you space to create more kind of like slightly different like moves that you'd be used to on a lead route.
Yeah, definitely. This route wonders. There's a lot of holds and volumes on it, but Maya is doing a fantastic job, and she's just over halfway up, so making really good moves and looking really comfortable, actually.
Yeah, she is, and she's moving with a lovely pace. I think that's always a good sign for how the climber is finding the route. And she's like only a one hold away from a bit of an angle change here, and we'll probably see the styles start to switch up a little bit as well. Come on.
Great effort from Maya. The route setters have intentionally blocked a lot of these little, I think they were lapis rails. So you've really got to take your time and find the good bit, which of course when you're pumped or, fighting is obviously very difficult.
Yeah, or I mean, maybe even like, you could have a slight moment where you read it wrong, you think the hold's better or not. Like, it really does reward the smart climbers as well as the strong ones, and I think that's such an important aspect of comp climbing that people maybe underestimate. Your understanding of movement and even your knowledge of kind of like the holds
Definitely. And I wonder how many of the athletes use binoculars in their observation time, because as we discussed this morning, binoculars are a great way to gain more information about the top of the route, which without them, a lot harder to see from the ground, obviously.
Yeah, we definitely, I saw a pair earlier floating around, and even though this wall isn't that big, I think, especially when things are tucked around volumes or like screws.
And it's dark.
Yeah, for sure.
And that, I guess, that kind of blocked detail is something that you really would love to know about before you get there.
Insider's knowledge. Just see Maya here. Yeah, she hit the hold, but there was obviously not quite enough purchase on it to keep her on. But I hope she's really happy with her performance, because I think she put in a great effort. She got super high up, and even, you know, you're in the final. Enjoy it.
Yeah, definitely. All of these athletes tonight should be so proud of themselves for even making it to this stage. What an achievement. British Championship finals. Like, not many people can say that they've competed in that space.
So, next up we have Thomas Froome and Brooke McKean. They're just taking their time there to get nice and composed, ready on the route. Molly, how many BLCC's finals do you reckon you've been in?
6.
6?
Yeah.
Nice, that's a good number.
Not too bad. 16, yeah. I did many youth BLCCs when I was younger.
Okay.
So I can't tell you how many for that.
6 more to come?
Oof. Oof, you're asking a lot of me here, Zoe. I'm not sure I can promise that I'll be around for 6 more. But one more would be nice.
I want to see it. I want to see it.
It's definitely getting harder and harder each year. So
I mean, the level just keeps going up and up, doesn't it? And I'm always astounded at how kind of like, you know, the young ones just keep getting better and better.
I mean, BLCCs for youth finals did not look like this when I was doing it. Yeah, as you said, the standard is just so high, and it's just always going up and up and up, and I'm so impressed by these young climbers, and it's such a joy to get to see them compete and alongside the best seniors in the country as well. It must be really inspirational for them, and it's great for the seniors to be surrounded by such like youthful inspiration and excitement.
Biting at their heels.
Yes.
It's kind of, they're almost here like, oh, just you wait a few years, I'm going to be better than you.
Oh yes, they're coming for us.
It's always great to see kind of like clubs of athletes pushing each other.
There we see Brooke making that blue cross clip before she does this down climb section.
Thomas struggling slightly to get that clip in, but he has got it in and using a lovely bit of momentum there to kind of like make his way up this volumey section.
Quite committing move, actually, quite low down, you know. You always want to try and climb things in with as much control as possible, but the route setters are forcing the athletes here to just be a bit looser and go.
Yeah. And, you know, if you're rewarded for that, then you will conserve more energy in the long run. And it's all about being able to decide, like, when to be static and so that you can be a bit more precise to the holds, and when just to let loose and go for it. And that's a real skill.
Definitely, that comes with experience and just doing these competitions year on year. So I'm super impressed with these young athletes. They're looking so good on the wall. Toma just taking a bit of a cut there, foot slip, but that foothold did look quite bad, so I'm glad he managed to recover that. Brooke has just been steadily making her way up and just misses out on that hold over the angle change, and we lose Toma as well.
Just short of the high point there. But I mean, a great climb from both climbers, and it just goes to show how tricky these two routes are.
Definitely. And, you know, anyone in this final can win. Yep. It doesn't, just because they've come out earlier doesn't mean they're any less likely to win. So a great effort from Brooke. I think she just maybe overestimated how good that hold was. That blue volume is pretty slopey, and she maybe just went to it a little bit too quickly and not quite the right angle. Yeah,
kind of like just misjudged which bit was going to be the bit to hold on to. And, you know, it's really hard if you haven't climbed on certain holds before. Like, if you, with this centre having only been open a couple of months, that'll have a massive effect on, you know, the athlete's knowledge of what holds they have, on the angles, and what the route setters are going to put up. but at least it's like a fair advantage because, you know, most climbers won't have trained here that much.
That's true, really true, yeah. Not particularly a home wall for anyone.
No,
just yet.
not yet anyway, but I'm sure it will basically be the
home of British lead climbing.
Yeah. I mean, it's really exciting that this place exists now, and I really think it will propel forward the athletes, especially in the international stage.
For sure. I'm definitely grateful to have a facility like this to train on and just to enjoy lead climbing as well.
Yeah.
It's just great to have such amazing routes on offer.
And it's been lovely. Me and you have trained here a bit the last couple of weeks.
We had a session today.
And you just, you know, you chat, and it's like, it's got great atmosphere. It's almost like being at the crag.
Definitely.
And meanwhile, we have got Bella and Spike. Spike is our boulder champion. Could he make it a double win?
Oh, we love a double win.
We love a double win. We
Come
love
on,
a double
Spike.
win. Do it for the double win, Spike.
Bella is a member of the precision climbing team. We'll see quite a few of those precision athletes out on the mats for today's final, coached by Ellie Glennie. And she says one of her favourite climbing moments of 2024 was going to Austria for 5 days. It was fun.
Nice, we like that.
Can definitely relate to that. She went on a training camp to Innsbruck, and it is absolutely amazing out there as well.
I've never been.
You're not, you're missing out.
I know, I need to get there. And Bella also won 3rd at the British Boulder Champs last week.
Definitely more of a boulder athlete, but starting to transfer those skills into her lead climbing and doing such a great job.
Yeah, it's been amazing to watch her grow. Kind of like every comp she comes to just seems to be like learning more and more, like not just about the climbing side of things, but also just kind of like developing as a competition athlete. Looking nice and composed there.
Yeah, I train at the same facility as Bella, and it's been really nice to see her grow as an athlete, like you said, and just she's always having fun.
Oh, we love that. We love fun.
Yeah,
Spike
and you know,
is,
she's got the right mindset for it, so I hope she's able to enjoy this final climb.
Yeah, I mean, you should. You only get to do this once a year.
True.
Maybe not even once a year. And Spike is a member of the North Core team. Also, he trains in Sheffield. Also, is often out on the grit. It's cool to see him kind of transferring those skills into the indoor competition scene.
Getting a bit stretched out on these stalactites. You know, features like this are quite often difficult to read, how, like where to put your feet, where to hold them.
It's great because there's no hold to indicate quite where's the best bit, so you've got to really rely on that intuition as a climber. And he's wasting no time there with that cut loose, and I love that little flick out. It's like really smart. We saw Toma kind of like
momentum there, didn't he?
we saw Toma kind of like end up having to hang around a bit, which I think would have been super draining. Bella's got that X cross in, and we're going to see him move down a little bit here. Both climbers having to try now. They're starting to dig deep a bit. You can see their facial expressions changing. One of my favourite bits. Oh, great fighting from Bella there.
Doesn't choose to stay around and rest. Maybe just hasn't quite seen it as a rest.
Or like once you've got past that point of being pumped, you just kind of like, you're like, I've just got to keep going.
Yeah, and as we said, she's quite new to lead comp, so Spike sticks
Come
this
on, Spike.
move out to the shoulder, and he is fighting to get his feet back on.
A great effort though, and a new high point from Spike there.
Yeah, fantastic fight.
Meanwhile, Bella is still on the wall. She's cruising up. Come on. Which is incredible considering she didn't make the most of that rest.
No, she is just all guns blazing. She's going for that top.
She's going for glory. Come on.
Come on, Bella. Oh, really good decision to kind of bump her way up that hold rather than, you know, she can't really tell what it's like from beneath it. So she played it safe. She was smart.
Yeah,
and she worked her way up it slowly. And she sticks that lock off.
Oh, come on.
Come on,
high
Bella.
point. I think you need to be like almost like a bit more secure on this section. She just loses it on the bumping work for a while, and then it didn't. Maybe she just ran out of juice a little bit there. But well done, Bella. That was a great performance. Spike, meanwhile, has tied us not too well and can't get just abandoned his harness. I don't want that anymore.
Well, the routes are doing a great job of being progressive, like you said. We've seen tiny splits, and so far so good. Route setters are doing a great job. Well done, route setters. You can see there's an absolutely amazing crowd here in Manchester. Everyone getting behind these athletes, and it's really cool that I think we sold out in seats again.
Yeah, I mean, who wouldn't want to come and watch this show? best in the country fighting it out. And some beautiful routes, some lovely music. What a Sunday night. And we're just welcoming our next athletes out. And we are halfway through. We have Saren Wills coming up, and we have Javier. Javier is a catalyst athlete. And he says one of his favorite climbing moments from 2024 was going to France with Tom and Sam. He also says apparently he's got too many results from 2024
that were good.
Yeah, sorry, I misread that. Too many of his best results from 2024
we love
to
that
write them down.
confidence.
Yeah, and hopefully, you know, this will be one of your best results from 2025. Come on, Javier, let's see you at the top of this route.
Saren, a member of the GB Youth Climbing team. She's competed for GB at the Youth World Championships in China, where she finished 23rd. So she's got some experience.
Go on, Sarah, that's a great result. And she also looked really good on the semi-final route. I was really impressed.
So well.
Yeah, and I think, you know, she really displayed kind of good movement, but also just a lovely composure.
Definitely had some flow. On a tricky route to find some flow on.
Yeah, we definitely saw some other really good climbers not look quite as comfortable. So yeah, she really proved herself as a lovely flowy route climber.
Javier also just looking a little bit confused at this stalactite section.
He's got a really
struggling to find his feet.
His feet up there. It's hopefully that doesn't kind of cost him too much energy.
I guess that's kind of something the route setters put quite low down just to make you feel a bit nervous and put you on edge a little bit.
Yeah, it's not too hard, but it's really forcing you to be decisive and maybe feels a little bit unfamiliar for route climbing. It's not quite your usual kind of hold on a wall and left, right, left, right. Both climbers now just looking like Javier got a bit more composure back, and Saren still just kind of taking her time, which is nice.
Sometimes it's actually quite nice to have a bit of a wobble near the start of the route. It kind of, once you get through it, you take a breath and you chill out a little bit, and then you're able to kind of flow a little bit more afterwards.
Kicks you into gear a bit.
Yeah, you're like, okay, it's all good now.
Yeah,
so hopefully Javier is going to enjoy this section. I think he will.
Maybe underestimated the route being that tricky, that low down slightly. But yeah, he's making light work of that no feet section, and he's kind of it looks pretty at home just hanging on his arms.
Oh, and that was a really good way to do that move from Javier. He didn't stand on the pretty bad foot. Instead, he opted to keep the really big heel and just went from good hold to good hold.
He looks really at home, kind of using those heels as much as possible, which is, yeah, play to your strengths.
Definitely. On static into that slot, looking really chill, and actually taking a little bit of a rest and a chalk before this hard move, which hopefully means he's feeling quite good.
And he's stuck in. He's making good progress. He's up in the donut, and this is our new high point here for the under 17s male category. He just falls off, but he should be really happy with himself.
Yeah, looked like a tricky move. That left purple handhold is pretty slopey, and sometimes when you go from one group of holds to another, having lots of crimps and then into a sloper, it's a bit of a weird kind of adjustment to make. But yeah, Javier doing really well and getting one move further than Spike. We're doing perfect progress at the moment.
Yeah, go on, route setters. Meanwhile, Saren is still fighting her way up this wall. She is just about to enter the slightly more static section on the volumes.
Also did a great job of bumping her way up that blue volume, and now can take a bit of a moment. It's quite nice when you get to the head wall and the angle changes and you've got slightly more weight through your feet.
Again here, this section has no holds, it's mainly on volumes, and I reckon it's probably quite a lot harder to read.
Definitely looks like she just kind of got a bit distracted and maybe didn't quite see the right way, so wasted a bit of energy going right, but actually needed to go left, and by the time she'd figured it out,
she looked a little bit tired in that right shoulder, but still she climbed so wonderfully up till there. And so we are down to our last 3 for the under-17 final.
It's gone so quickly.
I know, it's crazy when you watch, 16 or 26 athletes come out, and then suddenly you're just down to only the top 8, and it just like, yeah, we rattle through them, don't we?
Yeah, we have.
It's also nice being so absorbed in watching the climbers. I feel like that also makes the time go by so quickly.
Definitely, everyone's put on such a great show so far, and I've just been, loved watching it.
And no, no silly little slip-offs early on or anything.
No.
We've just seen some like wonderful, good performances, and hopefully we're only going to see the climbers get higher and higher.
With our next 2 athletes out on the wall, we've got Mia Gallagher and Tom Boeknecht. Both finalists at our British Boulder Champs. So both very at home on the boulder wall, but clearly very competent lead climbers as well.
Yeah.
And I think that is just the next generation of climbing.
They're good at it all.
They are good at it all. They really are.
Yeah. And they're only going to get better, that's the thing. It's like that, they only get better younger and younger now. And it's just inspiring. Tom has been competing internationally at the European Cups. He's made a European Cup final in 2024 and the Youth World semi-finals. So he should be used to kind of like competing in this format and maybe with a bit of pressure. So
definitely,
let's see how he gets on.
Probably has quite high expectations of himself then.
Yeah, and like dealing with that extra bit of pressure of knowing that maybe he's capable of it must be tricky, and also just knowing how much rides on this event as being not just the British lead champs but also a selection event. But still, both climbers looking lovely and composed, which is what we like
Tom
to see.
climbed through that stalactite section really well. Didn't look to be problematic in the slightest, really.
No, exactly. Might as well have been, good holds on there.
Yeah, and maybe that just comes down to the extra experience he has over the other athletes on lead routes in particular. You don't really get to climb on these kinds of routes in a commercial gym that much, so having competed at World Youth Championships and European Cup finals, and especially on finals routes, because there is a huge difference between qualification routes, semi-final routes and final routes. You get the crazy stalactites in finals, you get the weird, maybe it's not so physically difficult, but just
more they wander,
and strange moves and holds. So maybe Tom is, just a little bit more experienced than some of the other athletes here. Mia climbing really confidently, taking a little cut and is making the most of that rest, which I think is very smart.
And Tom also just resting. He's looking really chill on that section where actually a few of the other athletes didn't quite look as comfortable.
Yeah, he's kept quite a consistent pace, I'd say, like not really stopping too much, but not rushing, and he's just been resting his way up so far, and he makes that cut. And he's going to get the clip as well, which
go on, Tom.
I think is a good idea.
Oh, but it's costing him a little bit. Can he bring it back? It's maybe a little bit tangled as well. Come on, Tom.
Yeah, although it looks like he's matched this hold, so he might actually be able to skip out this purple sloper. No, he sticks to the...
That is some good crimp strength. Look, he's able to just go up and down, no bother.
Yeah, and
he's going to skip it. You called it. Well done.
This is where you can see he's clearly a little bit fitter than the other competitors, because he's got that space to try things out, come back down and think, maybe no, not that way for me.
And he has reached our new high point.
He has, and he is out of the steep, which I'm sure he's very relieved about.
Although those crimps look real tiny in real life.
Yeah, there's a lot of shiny coming up for Tom.
And you can see there's something in that big donut next to him. That is actually a little rubber duck, for those of you wondering.
Tom is starting to power scream. He's really having to fight, but the head wall is the perfect place for a fight, and Mia is also fighting.
We have got double high points going on here. It's so exciting. And Mia just coming off there against that top rail, but she should be super happy with that. Meanwhile, Tom is fighting.
And that right hand that he's on, the thumb of that is completely no textured, so he's not getting much out of that thumb, but he is having a really good fight. Come on, Tom.
Come on, Tom. Come on. Oh, I thought he was going to have it then. And he is happy with that. There's nothing better than watching a climber come out fight real hard and then look proud of themselves.
Yeah, he gave it his all, and yeah, it was an amazing fight. I think, you know, that last hold he threw to, maybe if it had not been blocked or been slightly better, he might have had enough to get it, but it looked like he left it all out there, which is exactly how you want your final round to go.
Yeah, and even if you're physically capable of doing the moves by that point, it's just like the move on move aspect of these routes. They don't give you like much chance to rest, and if it is, it will feel uncomfortable and it'll only be a little bit. So these climbers will be getting super pumped by the time they get up to that head wall.
Yeah, and for the male route, it looks like as soon as you kind of, it looks like there's just no rest really. Like it is just keep going, keep kind of finding the right positions through that stacked volume section. And the same with the female route. Once you get past that blue volume on the head wall, it is just lock and go between all of these rails. So Mia did a fantastic job. She got all kind of twisted up to get the clips in, but looked like she gave it everything she had as well.
So you can see there the athletes are all sat together, which is pretty cool. That must feel pretty nice when you've climbed a route and then you get to speak to the other athletes that know exactly what you're on about.
Yeah, you've done all the hard work at that point, and you get to either nervously wait or just enjoy watching your friends, teammates, and rivals compete.
Yeah, exactly. And know that hopefully you've done all you can out on that wall. And so we have our next two climbers. We have our Flo Natal in the females and Louis Calling.
Louis put in a great fight on that semi-final route. I remember watching him right up on the head wall.
He was looking so casual as well. That's the thing. It's when people get really high and they're still looking composed.
He's got really smooth climbing style. Like looks classically lead climbing, I would say.
Yeah, and always makes things look maybe a little bit easier than they are. But don't be fooled. These routes are really hard,
very difficult.
Flo there wearing a white spider top, so she'll be used to like, you know, fighting on quite powerful short lead routes. But I reckon that would be quite good training for this wall.
Yeah, for sure. It really does pack a punch, but it's not the shortest wall. Like there is quite a lot of length to this wall, which is really cool to finally see, like a centre in the UK that's got the angles and the length
and the space to wander. These lines aren't constricted by, you know, like any other like weird change of angles or how thin they need to be. So it's great to kind of, you really get to be super creative with what moves you put on. You get to see this lovely little down climb on the under 17s here.
And we've just found out that Mia has unfortunately been marked down for standing on a bolt at the second clip. Mia, the athlete we just saw, reach the high point.
And that is absolutely devastating. She'll be gutted by that. After such a good performance as well, and it's so tricky. Like, you know, she may have not even got anything out of that bolt. I mean, she won't have done it on purpose. She'll have been thinking so much about the route.
Yeah, it is such a shame, and I think no one likes seeing that, not even the other competitors. It's just such a shame when that happens to someone, and Mia, we're really sorry.
We're really sorry, and hopefully it's just a good learning opportunity.
Still proud of the performance she put in, because it was an excellent climb.
Yeah. Meanwhile, both climbers here just climbing away, doing what they do best.
Yeah, Louis looking really strong, really composed. Looks like he's not had to struggle yet.
An absolute hero move there with the cut. And
yeah, really pulls up high into the shoulders.
Chose not to get that clip in. He's got to do another flick here, but maybe, no, going down to get the clip. Oh no, he's keeping us on his toes.
Can't quite make his mind up, but manages to stick that move, and I think that's a really hard move. That left hand is not giving you much. I think it only becomes good once you're to the right of it.
And he's chosen to go past this point. He knows that he's probably, I think he knew that he wasn't going to be able to get that clip in any higher. But a great climb from Louis there. Meanwhile,
Yeah, I think he'll be disappointed, but you know, that's just how it goes sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes it doesn't go your way. But we have Flo just quietly getting on with it. Pretty casual from over here.
Yeah, Flo looking really good.
And this bit where she's at actually is like kind of fairly far away from the last bolt that she's clipped. And that's the other thing that these climbers might not be used to, is just if you climb quite far to the side of a bolt, just even like the mental game of the having clipped down and left to you. Although I'm sure they were also entering into that kind of like super focused zone where, you know, falling doesn't even come into the equation of it.
Flo looking like she's struggling a little bit, just desperately grabbing on and
oh, she hit the volume and she did stick, but just kind of like maybe just like a little bit gassed. She looked a little bit tired.
It looked like it just came on all of a sudden, like she was looking really good and composed, and then maybe just the pump hit her, and that just might be fatigue, general fatigue of the weekend, because it has been a huge weekend for these athletes. They've not just climbed today, but they climbed 2 routes yesterday. They've climbed a semi-final today, which is arguably the hardest round of climbing.
Yeah, and even just the mental toll of, like, you know, needing to perform round after round. And also, like, the way that these routes, they're so progressive that, like, you can feel comfortable and then suddenly they level up and becoming a little bit more difficult, and that's it. You know, you can climb at a certain level, but as soon as it ramps up, suddenly it does chuck people off. And yeah, we are gearing up for our last climbers in the under 17 final.
I can't believe that's the final.
I feel like we've only just sat down.
Me too. And here we're seeing a little replay of Flo. You can tell she's just getting a little bit panicked as she gets.
And she didn't do the bump. I think the bump might have been the little secret there.
Especially when you're feeling a bit pumped and, you know, when the lactic is hitting you, trying to control moves as much as possible. You don't want to be taking all of your weight on your hands.
And the pump does stop your brain from working as well.
That's true. Maybe slightly like rushed and hurried decision making there, but we've all been there. We've all been hit by the lactic, so a great fight from Flo.
Indeed, indeed. And we have our final climbers, which is crazy. And we have Isaac and Iggy. Both looked super good in the semi-finals. Kind of like both got quite a good chunk higher than the other competitors.
Yeah, Iggy had an unfortunate foot slip right at the top of the wall, but looked like she could have kept going.
I think both competitors look like fairly close to getting to the top. You never know, we might see a couple of tops coming right up.
If the athletes wouldn't mind.
Yeah, if you could just, you know, show us what happens at the top, that'd be great. I don't think either of these two will struggle with the bottom sections of these routes. Just give us a display of nice flowy climbing. Isaac got first in the JBLCCs in 2024, so can he make it a first in 2025? Let's find out.
He also placed 4th at the European Youth Cup in Zelina.
Looking a little bit hesitant currently. He needs to get that clip in. I think he might have gone a little bit further than some of the other climbers, and he has happened to down climb. I hope that doesn't cost him too much. Whether that's physically or also mentally, just being a little bit rattled. But we have seen this section rattle a few of the climbers, just maybe slightly more unconventional. Meanwhile, Iggy just plodding away.
Yeah, looking very casual, looking like she's not really got going just yet.
Yeah, exactly. She's just kind of like, come on, this is meant to be hard. This is meant to be a final. Why am I not trying yet? Swinging around. Oh, that's cool. That's good, Beta. She's found a knee bar. We haven't seen that yet. That's incredible. And it always amazes me. Iggy always climbs with her hair down, and I'm amazed that she can still, like, she can see at all times.
Isaac looked like he's recovered quite well, and he's actually getting quite high up now in comparison to our field, but I think that would have been costly, that little bit at the start.
Yeah, for sure. Now he's getting that clip in, which is a good move, Isaac. You need to get those clips, in. I mean, it must be hard as well sometimes, like you get a bit distracted, bit too zoned into the climbing.
Yeah, you just want to go up and you forget you've got to clip. But I think Isaac is potentially a bit fitter than the rest of the field, so he might have just that bit extra that allows him to make those mistakes but recover them.
Just doing that hero move there, and deciding to get this clip in, which is a good move, Isaac. Oh, a little bit fumbly, but come on, Iggy. Hanging out on that volume. Having a little quick glance down there to have a look at the timer. They only have 6 minutes to get to the top, so she needs to make sure that she's got enough time, maybe how long to rest for.
Isaac definitely looking a bit pumped, but smart climbing, matching and going to the better hold, and he looks like he's in cruisy fight mode, I would say.
Yeah, and he's been really good actually at recomposing himself. He's about to enter this crimpy section.
Yeah, it's not been his smoothest climb so far, but he is still going and, you know, not looking flustered.
Come on, there we go. We have got a new high point on the senior under 17s male. Oh no, we haven't. No, I'm lying.
Almost there. Isaac is doing a really good job.
I'm just manifesting it. Come on, Isaac. Meanwhile, Iggy is finding the best bit to hold on those crimp rails. Seeing quite a few climbers struggle on them. Come on, Isaac.
And Isaac sticks that blocked hold, and that is a high point. And he is again the champion.
Congratulations, Isaac.
Come on, Isaac, let's see a top.
Come on, Isaac. So it's like a bit of a jump.
Come on, Isaac.
Get it.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. What a fantastic climb from Isaac.
And what a way to finish.
I know. He brought it back so many times. Incredible.
And he is psyched with that.
And he's so
as he should be, because that was an effort for him, I think.
Smile. Meanwhile, Iggy, she's still fighting away up there.
She is just getting on with it,
yeah. These crimps for ages. Come on, Iggy. Let's see a double top here. Oh, she just falls off, but she did get a high point. And we have our second first place.
Yeah, I think she just opted to skip out those rails on the right, maybe not quite figuring out or seeing how they fit into the sequence there, and just trying to go big, but that not really working. So she looked a little confused as she came off. Maybe she'll have a chat with the route setters and see what the intended method
she'll be like,
was.
why did you put those holds there? I don't need them.
But yeah, great fight for her. I'm sure she'll be very happy to have taken the championship title again.
And there it is. The under-17s final is done. And what a show!
I know.
Both those last two athletes giving such a fight and just showing, you know, like why they qualified in first as well, and being able to like maintain that position going through to the final.
Yeah, definitely. Isaac, he fought his way up that final route. He didn't make it look too easy, but I think it just went to show how good he was, how much extra he had in the tank to make those mistakes, but just constantly keep staying focused, making good decisions, and not letting those little slip-ups get to him. And here we've got Iggy as well on the replay, skipping out all those holds on the right, trying to go big.
I'm sure she'll be annoyed with herself, but only hopefully momentarily, as she realises she is our new crowning glory of the 2025 British League Championships.
Yeah, hopefully she can be proud with herself. She won every single round of this competition, so it was a very clear, convincing win. And that's the best way to do it, really, isn't it?
Just come out here and really show us, like, I am the best. That's what you did last year, 2024. Oh, we're about to see your title go.
I know.
How do we feel?
Time.
It's time.
Time to hand it over.
For those of you that don't know.
Very short-lived.
For those of you that don't know, Molly won the title in 2024, back in September, which was only a few months ago.
Yeah, the National Championships is being held at the beginning of the year. Usually it's in the summer for Boulder and, you know, towards the end of the season in around October for lead. But this year it's being used as selection to the team and for international events, which is why we're having our National Championships ahead of the international competition season. But here you are, we've got our start list for the senior event. For the senior female category, we've got Izzy Bridgens, Faye McDougall, another Bridgens with Connie Bridgens, Zoe Petermans, Thea Cameron, Lucy Garlick, Hannah Kerr and Erin McNeese. And in the male category, we've got Daniel Smith, Jamie Jenkins, Jack McDougall, our current British bouldering champion, Sam Hammond, Sam Butterworth, Rhys Conlon, Fred Williams and Toby Roberts, our Olympic champion. So an absolutely stacked field for our senior final, and I cannot wait to see how this plays out.
What do you reckon? We call in any tops?
I mean, I think it would be unfair to say, but or tops, yeah, I think tops.
Tops, we need to manifest this. We're going to see some tops. I think it's fair to say we've got some fairly okay climbers in our field.
Definitely okay. We've got some favourites, like not to count anyone out, but Erin McNeese and Toby Roberts have had a very convincing competition so far.
Yeah, they just look like they were climbing on another level.
But we've got a 15-minute break now until the finals for the senior start, so tune back in at 6:30 and we'll see you then.
I don't know if I ever will feel ready and I would ever feel, you know, prepared enough or strong enough or good enough. Excitement and nerves are kind of the same thing. You get the same symptoms, like whether that's like sweaty hands, increased heart rate, whether you're nervous or excited, but it's kind of like how you frame that. My name is Deepika Hopkins. I work at a gym in London as a rotator, as a coach, and as a counselor. I started climbing when I was 20. I think that's when I first discovered it, which was a really long time ago. And then, yeah, it sort of dabbled a little bit, but then, yeah, like properly got into it in 2018. All our like family holidays growing up were like climbing trips, or like kind of outdoorsy, like mountain things. So yeah, like I've been climbing outdoors since I was probably 2 or 3. My name is Ruth and I'm a climber and coach from Manchester. Sort of like during COVID and after COVID, I got quite psyched to get better. Like obviously I had like a few months like without climbing. It's like going back to uni again. I got really psyched like all the uni comps and like training and getting stronger and better. I really enjoy competing. Like I think everyone's experience like being in like a crowd of like psyched people, like when you work in a boulder together or something, everyone tries a bit harder, everyone does better sends, like more sends. It's kind of similar to that, but it feels like almost on the next level. Like there's a bit more nerves that go with it, but then like the reward is also higher. So I sort of started competing in London comps last year. I made it through to 3 finals. I feel like I didn't necessarily climb my hardest, my best. I made some very silly mistakes. Ultimately, I've come back from the comp thinking that I've had an amazing time. I love the crowd. I feel like I try harder in front of people. So now it's BBCs, which is a bit ridiculous. The British Bouldering Champs is kind of the biggest competition of the year. There's up to 80 men and 80 women competing, or to be crowned like the best boulderer in Britain. So I think it represents like the pinnacle of British competition climbing. Like you'll have a lot of the best climbers in the UK there. But it's also open to anybody and everyone, which is great as well. So you get to compete against the best in Britain. A lot of other people come along kind of see how they measure up, and I think it's just such a cool event to be a part of. I've entered the British Bouldering Championships twice now, so I entered in 2021 and 2022. Last year I trained a bit harder for it. I managed to come in 25th, so that was a pretty big improvement from the year before. At the end of January, I had quite a bad mountaineering accident. I fell down a gully, so I fell about 200 metres, broke my collarbone and sprained both ankles. This year, like coming back from that, yeah, I kind of wanted to see how strong I can get, to be ready for like try really hard and everything that comes with competition climbing. So that's the biggest challenge for me.
I decided to enter the BBCs 2 weeks before the comp, so I haven't really had much time to prepare. I've just added a bit more dynamic training or like a bit more movement practice into my sessions, because that's what's lacking, I feel like, in my climbing the most. It'll be interesting to see how I guess like maintain my head gain throughout. Climbing in general as well, you know, it's as much mental as it is physical, and competitions perhaps even more so. Actually, yeah, I'm glad that I've only given myself 2 weeks to get stressed out.
Hello and welcome to Devonshire Green in the heart of Sheffield City Centre. We are here for the cliffhanger event, the British Bouldering Championships 2023. Crowd is building nicely, there's a lot of anticipation in the air. Good cool conditions for some hard moves and some amazing looking boulders in front of us. And yeah, it's hard to know how this one's going to go.
The waiting element is always the hardest one for me.
So it was a little bit more nerve-wracking. Like there are a lot of people that like Krisha is really good. I think Louis Parkinson was in there at the same time as me.
I didn't quite expect everyone else to be, you know, very much in that comp mindset.
I could tell I was nervous. Like my hands were a little bit sweaty.
You're in the warm-up zone from where you can hear bits and pieces.
Then I got called to go out on the stage.
As you wait to go out on the mats, you sat basically just behind the wall.
And like you kind of have to sit in like a tunnel behind the stage for like 5 minutes before you go out, which feels like the longest 5 minutes of my life.
And you can hear everyone, and you can hear the timer going, and hear your name being announced, and you have to like start walking out.
And then out onto the boulders.
Like the moment I started trying the boulder, my focus was just that. I kind of zoned everything else out.
I wasn't really like hearing or thinking much at all. Like I was kind of just doing, so I couldn't really hear the crowd that much. Like I could tell they were there, but I wasn't really listening to them, I guess. I think I struggled with nerves a little bit on boulder one. Like it was really tacky and stabby, and like I'd usually love that, but like I wasn't finding the right balance of just standing on my feet, and I was trying to pull really hard with my arms because like I was, you know, all warm and excited and ready to go.
Getting the double catch dyno on boulder 2, being able to catch that move, that was a very, very cool moment. So I remember that moment. I think I will always remember that moment. I fell off the next move after, but yeah, I remember that moment. That was great.
But I was pretty excited about boulder 3. There's a really bad slopey hold that like I didn't think I could hold before. But yeah, like I managed to hold that really bad slopey hold, so that was really exciting. And then boulder 4 felt great until I pulled in a hold and something in my shoulder clipped. I didn't make a great decision and got on boulder 5 anyway, and then my shoulder really hurt. Yeah, and then I went to A&E. And they did all the x-rays and everything, and I don't think I'll be out that long, hopefully.
The last boulder was when I completely lost it. I spent 3.5 minutes trying to start it. Eventually, when I did manage to get on, got the zone fine, but you had to go up this chimney, which was so much fun, but very hard to do when you don't have enough time. So I was like trying to shuffle up as fast as I could. Yeah, got timed out, and it was very sad. So yeah, it would have been great if I had one top 3 zones, but instead I came away with a ridiculous amount of fun on boulder 5 and all the emotions, the emotional roller coaster I went through. And I gave the crowd something to cheer for. I was there for the entertainment value. So you're welcome, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like I did come seconds last, which is, you know, it's seconds last. And also it's seconds last out of like the best climbers in the country. It's like, I think coming last or seconds last in that field is not a comment on me as a climber, it's a comment on how strong everyone else is.
So definitely like a bit gutted to have not even have come close to making semis. I got 3 zones, no tops, and I was 3rd from last, so I think I was 35. But I managed to get, which I was very happy with, I got 2 dynamic moves. And considering that, I kept on saying like that was like my biggest weakness going into the competition, and that was the one thing I was extremely worried about. Like pretty happy that I managed to, yeah, get those 2.
I think I was climbing the strongest I've ever climbed before the comp. There's some moves I wouldn't have been able to do last year, and I think that's worth it in itself. I've learned to like trust the process a lot more, I think. I will get back there. I'm just going to need a few weeks of like rehabbing and recovering, and then like gradually building it back up. BBCs gave me like an opportunity to try really hard. If you try really hard a lot of the time, you probably are going to get injured at some point. We all sign that waiver when we like go to the climbing centre that you might hurt yourself. But yeah, I don't think any of that was like wasted time, because like, yeah, I got better, I learned a lot, like I've progressed like, as a climber and a coach.
I think we do tend to, yeah, just write ourselves off before even taking part when you don't feel like you're going to be in the top 10% of applicants or top 10% of competitors. Maybe you feel like you don't belong there. You don't have to necessarily do something just because you're good at it or that you want a specific result. You can just do it to enjoy it.
Like it's possible for like something to be really intimidating and really cool at the same time, which I think is a big con. There are lots of really good climbers competing, but there's also all these reasons why it's really cool and you can have a really good time competing.
Getting to climb these really cool boulders on the biggest comp stage in the UK, I just love the comp atmosphere. I feel like climbing is such an incredible sport. It's such a great thing that we can be a part of, where everyone is so supportive.
I think that's quite rare in like competitive sport, and I think we're so lucky to have like a community that like supports each other even in competitions.
Hopefully next year will be better. We'll see.
Next year.
Yeah, I had such a good time.
Oh, I'm really excited for next year. But yeah, like I'm excited to rehab my shoulder, like get stronger again. I just kind of want to see like how strong I can get and like hopefully be able to show a little bit more of what I've got next year.
If anything, it's gotten me quite excited to go back and try again and to experience it all again. Just went by too fast. The weekend was out like that, and you've got 25 minutes on the blocks and that's it. So I'm excited to go back and have those 25 minutes again and make the most of that again.
With the deep water solo season quickly approaching and crags being busier than usual, you may be searching for a different experience out on the rock. So for your safety, we've compiled this fun film providing some key points about how to deep water solo safely.
The best time to get out in the UK in deep water solo is in August, September. This is when the water's the warmest.
Remember to check the tide times carefully before climbing. Remember that a neap spring tide is not actually that high, so check which routes need high tides.
Never go deep water sailing on your own in case you're getting difficulties in the water. Working out an escape plan is as important as working out the moves.
Before starting climbing, it's always useful to check the fall zones to see if there's any underwater hazards that could injure you. This is why it's so important to check the tide times and the water depths.
Climbing out of the water might not always be an option. Having a rope or a buoyancy aid potentially could save lives.
The Great British weather is known for its sporadic nature. One moment it could be glorious sunshine and the next it could be belting down with rain. This is why it's important to pay attention to sudden changes in weather, specifically wind speed, as it can cause dangerous waters. Just because it's the Great British summer doesn't necessarily mean the water is warm. In fact, it's still really cold and can put anyone at risk of cold water shock.
So what is cold water shock? It's an involuntary reaction your body makes when going into cold water. Your chest cavity constricts, making it really hard to breathe, sometimes resulting in hyperventilating and, in extreme cases, cardiac arrest.
Signs of cold water shock include gasping, panic, hyperventilation and restriction of blood flow. So what kind of gear should you take? Well, lots of spare clothes, shoes and chalk just in case you take a few dunks into the water, an ab rope so you can get out safely and a flotation device. Also a down jacket and beach towel wouldn't hurt in case it's cold when you get out of the water.
So now we move on to the slow motion part of the film, how to hit the water. You've got to remember to make as small a profile as possible, pointing your toes and having your arms down by your side. No one wants to slap the underside of their arms or belly flop from 20 feet.
Deep water soloing is a great way to have a fun day out with friends, but it isn't without risk. So remember to be safe and be smart. For more information, search BMC Deep Water Solo.
Although it's warming up and not technically the season, that won't stop many of you from heading out into the Peak District to experience God's own rock, the Gritstone. We're here at the Roaches for the next feature in our Respect the Rock campaign to give you all the knowledge. So sit tight, here's the download. Firstly, it's worth saying that the Gritstone, or grit, is a truly unique rock type, unlike anything else in the world. It's a hard, coarse-grained rock, and this rough surface provides outstanding friction, allowing you to stand on or grip the very smallest of features. The best time for the grit is over the winter months, when cooler temperatures can maximise friction. It goes without saying, like with all rock types, avoid when wet. Wet grit is weak grit. Give it plenty of time to dry out to avoid causing damage. So let's get this over with. Please, please, please use the designated parking spaces. If they're busy, you've got to move on and try another crag. Parking is one of the biggest bugbears for landowners in the area. Please be respectful and do your bit to help protect the delicate access agreements. Bouldering is booming. This increased footfall is having an effect on the rock and surrounding area. Please ensure to use a bouldering pad to minimise ground erosion and protect your fall. Also, please ensure you stick to the footpaths and avoid going out into the open moorland. There is some really delicate wildlife that needs protecting. In advance of your trip, make sure there aren't any restrictions by checking Natural England's open access website or the BMC's regional access database. Dogs in particular are allowed in the spring and early summer, but they need to be on a lead to avoid disturbing nesting ground birds and lambing. Due to the high friction of the rock, you can use minimal chalk, and when it comes to brushing, please do it gently and with a soft brush. Please avoid using tick marks. Not only are they unsightly, but they can really ruin the experience for the next climber. Working on your route reading, memory and observational skills will also pay dividends in the long run. There are loads of ways to minimise risk and land safely. Before you set off, make sure you read the route and place your pads in the optimal location for where you think you might fall. When using multiple pads, again, think about the places you might fall and avoid placing the gaps directly under fall zones as you may fall through. Finally, if you haven't been outside bouldering before, make sure you increase your height gradually and start on small boulders. You want complete peace of mind in your ability to land safely. We always recommend going out climbing with a partner, and having a spotter massively reduces your chances of injury. They can move pads into optimal locations, stack them for higher up, and ensure you land in the middle of the pad should you fall off. With all that adrenaline and nervous energy, you might feel the need for facilities to come on. If it does, make sure you use the designated toilets, but if an emergency strikes, be respectful, find a quiet place without disturbing anything and take it home with you. Dog poo bags work a treat and take up no space in your bag. Chipping and the use of any kind of resin is strictly prohibited. It's never been a thing and is completely unacceptable anywhere you go. Barbecues, fires and stoves risk starting wildfires and are strictly prohibited. Please refrain from using any kind of open flame. Stick to the crag snacks and wait until you get home for that fresh cup of tea or three-course meal. The BMC has been doing some great work through their Hills to Ocean campaign. When you're all packed up and ready to leave, make sure you take your rubbish with you and pick up anything else you see on the way out. So those are our key points for bouldering here in the Peak District. For any further information on how to access the crag itself, please head over to the BMC website or the regional access database, and thank you for watching.
And welcome back to the BLCC's final 2025, and we are seeing our senior athletes run onto the mats here in Manchester Depot.
Yeah, our senior finalists are just coming out in reverse order.
Finalists, your time starts now.
Now there's a lot of talent out there on the mats.
Yeah, and they're about to turn around for their 6-minute observation period. They have 6 minutes to view the route, and then they'll go back into isolation, and they will come out in reverse order from qualification. And just up on the screen here, you can see the final results from our under-17 finals. The champions there, Iggy and Isaac, putting on a great show with the top from Isaac and a really good high point there from Iggy.
We got Bella Ryder and Ruben Hayward in second place, and Seren Wednesday Wills and Kit Watson Evans in third. But now onto the senior finalists.
And up on the screen is the order that the athletes will come out in. And you can see there we've got the Bridgen sisters coming out, which is pretty cool.
We do indeed. Very strong family. We've also got another family, a strong family featuring in finals. We've got Faye McDougall and her brother Jack McDougall. Jack won the British Bouldering Championships a couple weeks ago, and he is the current British lead climbing champion.
They just missed out on climbing at the same time. They could have done that a bit better, couldn't they?
Yeah, and
really
they would have absolutely loved that. They have such a great climbing family. They train together, they compete together. Yeah, a bit of a shame we can't see them climb at the same time, but
do better next time, guys. That you know, that's the aim, isn't it? We can get them on together next time.
Other highlights on the list, Hannah Kerr had an amazing semi-final round.
I know. I mean,
she climbed so well. She looked so
like a kind of a different climb almost to what we've seen before, and I really hope that she can bring that into the finals as well.
Same with Fred Williams.
Yeah.
He also climbed super well. He looked so composed and calm throughout his semi-final route, and you know, just second place. It's a great way to make it into the final.
You see the athletes there doing a little dance. They're doing their route reading. You see them there working together potentially to unlock the sequences, and they aren't always super clear from the floor. And you see Toby's, he's got a pair of binoculars, just help you see what's going on at the top. We've also got some gloves and hats going on. It can be pretty cold in the centre, which is great for climbing, but when you're staying still for a while in isolation, there's a bit more hanging around time. Really important to try and keep the body warmth up. It can be easy to numb out, especially if you're on a route. Really see Toby eyeing them up there. He wants a good look on that head wall, because I think he might have a pretty good chance of getting there. He was the only one to top the semi-final route going into this final, and he did it in such casual style as well.
Now the senior women will be sharing the same route as the under-17 males.
Indeed, they will. Now, we've already had a little, I guess, preview of what this route has got to come, but obviously they haven't. So yeah, they're going into this with no prior knowledge of this route.
They might have heard that Isaac Sutton got our only top of our under-17 finals. They might have a little bit of intel, as they have been in this building, sitting in isolation, waiting patiently for their turn.
Indeed, they have. Yeah. And
by the way, we've got the men on the right-hand side of our main overhang
with a brand new route. How exciting! I think they're maintaining the theme of some more feet-first sections.
Yeah.
And I've heard of a little foot plant dynamic move right at the top. So hopefully we will get shown that move as well.
We don't mind dynamic moves when they're the last move.
That is when they're acceptable.
That is when they're acceptable. A nice little treat for getting all the way to the top of the wall.
I apologise for the silence, but we've just managed to find head setter Max Ayrton and brought him into the booth. How's it going, Max?
Hello, yeah, not too bad.
Yeah. What have you been up to this week? Anything interesting?
No, not much.
Just a normal day at the office for you?
Yeah, another one. Yeah, we've had a good week actually, setting these routes. It's been good fun.
How does this wall compare to others to set lead on?
It's pretty good. It's very swanky.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Too swanky almost. There's too much texture.
You don't want to make a mess of it.
Yeah.
You don't want to move holds around too much.
And you've had a good team?
Yeah,
Big team
great team. Yeah, we've had Jan Janou, Dave Barons, Kalian Harker, Jess McCaskey, and Dave Lowe. Yeah,
and
good team.
Don't forget our guest setter from America.
And our guest setter from America, Oggy Cohen.
Well done remembering all the names. You did well on the surnames.
It's been a long day.
It's been a long week. And what do you reckon? We're going to see some tops?
I think so, yeah. I think these routes are both probably a touch easier than the semi-finals.
Yeah. Touch easier, but maybe, slightly more tired, a little bit more pressure.
Yeah. I'm hoping we'll get a few more of the lower level athletes, let's say. I mean, they're all quite high level at this stage, aren't they?
Yeah, the standard just to get to this.
Yeah, it'd be nice to get lots of people close to the top of the wall.
That's the thing. It's by the time you've got to the final, we just want to see as much climbing as possible.
Yeah.
And everyone getting as high as possible whilst maintaining a split and seeing some tops. It's an easy job.
Yeah, I mean, something always happens. You just put some holds on and see what happens.
Yeah, exactly. It's a nice casual approach.
Yeah, the under 17 females final, when we got it out of the cupboard earlier, was entirely pink,
and somehow it changed
we decided
colour.
that it just didn't look right, so while we were putting it back on, we swapped lots of colours around.
Nice.
And it turned out pretty well.
Yeah, it turned out great, and you never would have known. You just thought that was your plan all along.
Exactly.
I like that it's taken you until today as well to realise that maybe a little bit of blue was what was needed to give it maybe a bit of contrast.
Pizzazz that it's missing.
Pizzazz, yeah. You're like, oh god, this route's just lacking a bit of pizzazz. And that's what, someone of your experience is here to bring, that extra bit of pizzazz to the routes.
Yeah.
And talk us through the men's final. We haven't, obviously, we've seen what's going to kind of happen on the women's, but what are we looking at here in the men's final? Is there any moves that you're particularly excited about, or you think could catch them out?
It's all fairly conventional climbing, so hopefully they should get on fairly well.
Right.
Left, right, exactly. It's also got another move where you swing your feet first and do a little hand to foot with your heel. It seems like we've done a lot of that this week. Nice.
Yeah. Did you chat to each other whilst you were setting, or
No, just
something in the water this week is making you go feet first. I saw that. I was like, oh, nice. They've got a theme going. Good for them.
Yeah, it's all the holds are fairly good at the start. Little bit unnerving at the once you get mantled up on the red and black holds at the start.
That's good. We want to keep them. Like
Yeah, get them a bit stressed, and then maybe they overgrip and they get more tired more quickly, and and then they have to work a bit harder. And then all the holds are fairly good through the blue section in the middle.
I love that as well. Fairly good is...
I mean, relative, obviously.
Relative, no, exactly, it's brilliant. Yeah.
I mean, they are actually fairly good. It's just you've got to do a lot of moves, and it's really, really steep. 55 degrees in there.
I was surprised at how steep this wall feels when you're actually climbing on it. You kind of you look at it from the floor and you're like, yeah, it's fairly steep, but actually, the tension that you need to kind of not cut loose and to maintain energy is a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think we have got our first athletes coming out to compete. So thank you so much, Max, for coming to talk to me. And we'll get Molly back in now.
Thanks for having me.
Go and have a watch. So we have our first athletes of the finals here, of the senior finals, and we have got Daniel Smith and Izzy Bridgens both having their last little look, and Izzy is off. I don't think we'll see any issues here from Izzy in this first section. She's a great route climber. climbs with a lot of flow. So Molly, while she's been gone, I had a little intel from Max that maybe we could see some slightly unnerving moves on the men's final here.
I see. Nothing like a little press at the start to get the nerves kicking in.
Yeah.
But Daniel looks like he's chilling.
Yeah, he is.
He's absolutely fine.
Daniel 101. Now, Izzy is often like really good with her heels, so I think this section here on the stalactite will suit her. She can really milk the fact that you can get it on both sides. Hang on straight arms, climb nice and efficiently.
Yeah, climbing that section really smoothly and efficiently. Not missing a trick, really.
And we have Daniel entering into this foot first section, which is the theme of this finals. And sorry about the double Izzy. Whoever's on the camera is obviously like, she's doing such a good job, we need to show her twice. And there we go, we've got Daniel back now. And he's maneuvering very nicely around this section, kind of like taking his time, having bits of shakes, getting that clip in. Izzy is also making her way through this foot first section.
Climbing super smoothly, really using all of those heel hooks.
Yeah, she's
taking
really
a good chill here.
Yeah, she looks like she's taking kind of like a lot of weight off her arms there by maximizing what she can pull on with her legs. These really like 3D moves are good for that.
Yeah, I saw Izzy earlier today and she just seemed really happy to just be in the final, so I'm sure she's just out to have a good time and try and climb her best, and she's doing such a good job so far.
Yeah, that move from the under-17 males going on it, like, it's a powerful move, and she did such a deep lock there, and she looks casual getting this clip in, again making the most of those heels, and she's in that crimp. Daniel here fighting his way up through the volumes.
Yeah, the holds in this section looking incredibly thin.
That looked like a pumpy lock off to do that clip. He's able to get some little shakes between the holds. Izzy gearing up for the big shoulder move. She sticks it. Oh,
excellent
strong,
work,
Izzy. Come on.
Oh, and Daniel just getting his hand
a bit.
Yeah, well, he got his hand caught by the rope.
And Izzy getting spat off as well, just moving away from that donut. Kind of we saw earlier, it's perhaps a slightly smarter move to go right hand first, but still a lovely performance from them both.
Yeah, maybe a bit of a bittersweet ending there for Daniel, not really falling off out of being super pumped. More like a technical error, getting his hand caught underneath the rope. That is the problem with all of the, traversey moves and holds on volumes. Like, you've got to be really careful of like which side your hand is on the rope. And we've got a replay now, and I think you'll be able to see it in a second. He looks down and he gears up and
it
just
properly stops him.
Yeah.
There's just so much to think about on these routes, though. Like, every aspect of it kind of like is pretty hard, and it forces you to make good decision making. Just at every point, and be really aware of what's going on. And I guess like being so focused on the actual moves can make that quite difficult at times.
Definitely, and I guess because the field is so stacked, the route setters really can't give them any rest, any way of like cheating through a move. They've got to make it hard to split these strong athletes.
Absolutely, and with quite a spectrum of kind of like climbing ability as well, it's quite a hard job to see the best be challenged and see maybe the kind of lower in the field still get to do a lot of climbing.
Yes, exactly.
It's a real fine line, and I think so far the route setters have done a real good job of...
Me too, it's been an excellent show so far. I'm having a great time watching.
It's lovely to just get to watch without feeling, stressed because what you put on the wall isn't working.
Okay, out next we have Faye McDougall
and Jamie Jenkins.
Faye hoping to add another medal to her collection after coming third at the British Boulder Championships a couple weekends ago. She also finished third at last year's BLCCs, so can she make it one or potentially two steps better on the podium?
And Jamie also, he's been competing for a while now, and on the international circuit, he finished 3rd at a European Lead World Cup this year. Both climbers making steady work at the start of these routes, as they probably should. And that's because they are both amazing climbers and amazing athletes.
Faye's written down that most of her, all of the climbing moments that she's fond of are boulder moments actually, but here she is doing really well in elite competitions.
Hopefully next year we'll see this on her.
Exactly. Hopefully
her list of
next year
achievements.
we'll be able to talk about Faye's shining lead season.
And Jamie being pretty decisive here, which is great to see. You really kind of like can't waste any energy or time being indecisive, and he's looking so strong on those campus moves. Pretty chill, hanging on 2 arms with no feet there. Knew what he needed to do and just did it and executed, which was great.
Yeah, good clip from Jamie there.
Faye
able
also
to go back down and rest for a little bit.
Yeah, smart climbing, and Faye just entering into the no kind of like, well, she didn't actually have no feet for very long. She managed to swing them over pretty quickly, which, yeah, great climbing IQ by these two. And a deep block there from Faye. That is just some pure shoulder strength. Also making the most of those heels. They look like they really take the pressure off in this section as it's so steep. And Jamie making his way up into the volumes, and the kind of like the holds change here to become a bit more crimpy. And they've got to, climbers have got to adapt to that.
Faye catches that shoulder move and is into the donut.
And this is where
she's gearing up for a flick, and she
oh, Faye! I thought she caught it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Just too much momentum carrying her rightward, and unfortunately that left hand just wasn't good enough to keep her locked in.
But a great fight. And as we saw, like the same as Izzy kind of like went up to that donut first, and perhaps maybe going right hand would have been
maybe hesitated a little bit on that donut, but you know, if you think that's the way the route setters have intended, then. And Jamie is now ahead of Daniel. He's made that move up to that blocked black hold and is about to exit the steep section of this wall.
Come on, Jamie. He lives and trains in North Wales. Come on, Jamie. He is shaking there, but still fighting. That is great. That's what we want to see. He's twisting around those crimps, and they are small. Come on, Jamie.
Looking down at the clip.
Oh, a great effort there from Jamie Jenkins. He should be super happy with himself. Just see that replay of Faye kind of holding that hold, but then the way that her body turns underneath her just twists her off, which is so unfortunate, because I feel like she had a little bit more left in the tank perhaps.
And a little replay of Jamie here, elbows up, absolutely fighting, but just kind of looks down at the cliff and knows that even if he sticks the next hold, he's kind of, you almost don't want to.
No.
You know that you're
you don't
in
have
trouble.
to deal with. He looks down. He's like, that is a long way. And even if he could clip it, I think that his forearms weren't gonna allow any juice left to get that rope in. And we have got our second set of the siblings coming up. Jack McDougall and Connie Bridgens.
Jack McDougall had a bit of a shaky semi-final round.
He did. We were worried for a second. But you know, now
it was a bit stressful watching.
It was a bit stressful, but hopefully he's got that shaky climb out of the way. He's got the shakes out of his system, and now he's like, okay, I made it to the final, and all I've got to do is climb a little heart out. And you know, that's something that he can do, is climb his little heart out. Or big heart.
Yeah, we saw Jack training here a couple of weeks ago at Big Depot in Manchester. And he was definitely nervous. He's predominantly a boulder athlete, but he's been putting so much time and effort into his lead climbing, and he's come on such a long way. And all he wants is the opportunity to go and show it out on the World Cup stage.
And I think when you are a dual athlete as well, like it is so hard, like, you know, when you're putting time into both sport and lead.
Definitely, it's a huge volume of training to train for just one discipline, let alone two. So, you know, these athletes are really putting the time in to be here in the finals and competing at this level, and in both, because both of these athletes were in boulder finals a couple of weeks ago as well.
Absolutely, and just to switch it up so quickly is incredible. And just talk about like the pace on the wall for a second. Like they're both, I look at one, I'm like, they're climbing quickly, and I glance over and the other one is like just like at the same height, if not ahead, and they are both absolutely steaming up this wall. It shows that I think they're climbing to their strengths, maybe, perhaps there's more boulderers, and you know, it's a smart move towards conserving energy and just being like, right, I just need to get as high up that wall as quick as possible so that I've got the most energy to fight at where I know it's going to be harder.
Yeah, for sure. As like more of a lead specialist, I've always been a little bit jealous of how quickly the boulders just get on with it. You know, they don't have the extra fitness to spare.
Because they can't hang around like you can.
I know, but it generally tends to lead to much more efficient climbing. And, you know, they're both making great progress up these routes and looking pretty good. Slight bit of sinking into the shoulders and the neck from Jack, but he's trying to milk a little bit of a rest before this tricky traverse section. Come on, Jack.
And Connie just chilling out. She's looking really comfortable there. Looks like she's got some good breathing going on. With the toe hook and toe, she's really fitting in well. Meanwhile, Jack is making his way up onto this head wall.
Climbing super efficiently. He is just going at such a great pace.
Making the most of those little shakes. I think they're really important when you get to this section, because you won't get good shakes, but you've got to make the most of the little ones between the holds.
Definitely, and that's something Jack's learned on his pursuit to be an accomplished lead climber. And come on, Jack.
Come on, Jack.
Making that difficult cross through. Let's see if he can do the unravel.
Those crimps are small, I can tell you. I can see him in person. Oh, and he just comes off.
Definitely not a hold you can kind of jump to, unfortunately.
Well done, Jack.
But a great effort. It's been a long weekend, and he looks exhausted.
Yeah, he looks tired there. But tell you who doesn't look as tired is Connie.
Connie is flying.
And you know what? She's just resting her way up this thing. On holes that I've seen climbers struggle with, she's just like moving down, have a little shake, move up, have a little shake.
Yeah, she's definitely slowed the pace now. She's not going quite as quickly as she was before, but that's probably quite smart climbing. And I thought she was about to match.
Yeah, the match. I saw that as well.
But she is thinking about it, I think.
But she's swinging her leg. Come on, Connie. And she sticks it. Oh, no. And we see another fall in the same place, unfortunately. Now that's a shame, and you know what? I'm surprised by that, because we saw quite a few of the under-17 males match that crimp and move up with their right, and I thought that, you know, maybe we would see some of the females see that. You know, the matching is quite a, like, I don't know, quite a predominant, you know, you've got quite a lot of space on that hold.
Yeah, I guess I'm not, so in one way I'm not surprised that we saw Connie try that, because we saw Faye try it and we saw Izzy try it, and they all trained together, so they definitely read the route together and, you know, shared ideas, and I reckon they all will have seen that as a bit of a pogo flick.
Yeah, for sure. And it does almost work. You know,
it almost works.
It probably does work if you're just not quite as pumped as they are.
And I think the problem with when you are fit and strong like these athletes is that you feel good enough to give the correct method a go. You don't try
maybe
and look for the
you're slightly bit more riskier.
Yeah, and I think maybe with some of the younger male athletes, they touched that purple hold and thought, oh no, I can't hold that. So they looked for a different way, whereas, you know, Connie is a very strong athlete, and she probably went, yeah, I can hold that hold. I've held much worse holds on the boulder wall, and just had a crack at it, rather than like hesitating a little bit and thinking, oh, maybe there's an easier way around this. But a great fight from Connie. Pretty sure this is her first senior British lead champs, or second, so she's very, very new to this, and yeah, just great to see her in the finals, and I'm sure we'll see her in many more finals to come.
Oh, absolutely. Watch this space. And meanwhile, we've got Zoe pulling on here, and Sam Hammond.
Zoe has been a British lead climbing champion as well as a British bouldering champion in the past.
she's gunning for first today. We've spoken to her
title. Yeah, she was second last year.
She wants it today.
She
so let's
really
just
wants
see
it.
what that want does to her climbing. Hopefully we see a really good fight, because she trains super hard. I mean, as do all of these athletes. You don't get to this final without putting so much into it.
Yeah, Zoe, a really lovely lead climber to watch. She's so strong, but also so technical, loving heel hooks, and I'm sure she's going to enjoy this little section here.
And Sam also just kind of casually making his way up this section. He's a real strong climber. I think he'll enjoy the physicality of the next section. Swinging the feet across. I mean, that just looks like a fun move, especially with this crowd and it's all lit up.
Yeah, definitely a great show here at the depot. Zoe moving relatively quickly. She's not really messing about. I think probably just hasn't come to a section that's proven any real challenge to her yet. So that's really nice to see. I'm hoping Zoe's going to show us what the top of this route looks like again.
And will she see this rest here that we've seen quite a few? No, she hasn't. She's moved past. I mean, maybe she just feels good. Maybe she knows that she doesn't quite need it and she's in a nice flow state.
She definitely looks pretty relaxed, and I'd say probably a little fresher than the previous athletes, but we know that this section coming up is really difficult, and I wonder if she'll opt for the match method.
Meanwhile, Sam also making some really good choices there with good clipping positions to save the energy. Zoe doing the hero move, which is great. She goes up straight. Oh, but it's come back down again. Chalking up. Oh, she almost had us there.
I think she's going for it. But
she just makes that move look easy.
Yeah, she stepped up into that slot, and rather than kind of pogoing to the hold, which does give you a lot of momentum to go rightwards, I think it gives you too much momentum rightwards, and then that left-hand becomes even more important. But she is absolutely racing up now.
And you can hear the crowd. They are cheering her on. They want her to get high. Come on, Zoe. She's entering into our new high point for the senior females.
Oh, Sam, I was about to say, looking really confident, just jumping up into that slight side pull. I think maybe too much confidence in that section, and it was a bit more delicate. The holds aren't so good, and you need to really start standing on your feet as you exit the steep, but he just went for it, and clearly a little bit too much. But Zoe, we're still with Zoe, so
come on, Zoe.
Let's focus on that.
She looks pretty comfortable on those crimps. I know that they will not be as big as she is making them look.
Doing a bit of a clock section, extra moves, but maybe slightly easier moves, and she's going for it. Come on, Zoe.
She's on that pinch with the no-tex. She is fighting. Come on, Zoe.
This is the kind of fight we want to see on the lead wall. Come on, Zoe.
Making that climp work, even though it must be a really tiring position. Come on, Zoe. Come on.
Now a big powerful move to come. Come on, Zoe.
Oh, and she makes it work, but just drops it at the last second. But I really hope that she is happy with that performance, because that was brilliant.
Yeah, great fight from Zoe. Will it be enough? I'm not sure.
Yeah, we will see, as we still have 4 climbers to come out. A great climb from our 2 athletes there.
You can see how close Zoe was to sticking that hold. Just didn't quite have enough to keep those fingers closed.
And here we have Thea Cameron and Sam Buttersworth. making their way out, having their last little route read, getting ready to give it them all.
Hannah made 2 Junior European Cup finals last year and semi-finals at the Youth World Championships in China. Apologies, I'm reading Hannah's. Thea is on the wall, but I have competed with Thea at World Cup, so she is also a seasoned international competitor.
Indeed, indeed. I was like, oh, I didn't know that doesn't look like Hannah. Oh well, it's we've seen a lot of climbers today. You can be forgiven for making a little fumble like that. And I mean, all of our athletes are super accomplished. Once we see kind of like once we're down to this level of athletes that come out from the finals list, most of them have probably competed internationally, and if not, they certainly are used to competing on this national stage and used to fighting for that national title. And looking to compete internationally this year. Yeah, this is a selection event. This is a selection event. So how they rank today will affect what their competition calendar looks like this year. And we see Sam there making some really good decisions with the clips, getting them in nice and early so you can shake out. And entering into this lovely foot first section that I think you'll enjoy. And same with Thea. Feet nice and high, looking casual there, having a little bit of a shake maybe. And she makes that fairly powerful lock look pretty chill, which is good to see. Sam almost facing the crowd there. Yeah, definitely making the most of that rest position. Yeah. Double heel. Come on, Sam, got a route to climb. Some nice deep breaths. There's so much to be said for your breathing when you're climbing long, hard routes like these. And Thea is entering into a section that we know can be pretty tricky, and she makes it look pretty good. Yeah, great climbing from Thea so far. Let's see if she can find the right position. This is a bit of a tricky clip if you've climbed this far past it, and she is absolutely fighting to get that clip in, but it's in, and hopefully she can now recover a little bit. And I think it just goes to show how important those clips can be. They might not score you anything, but they can definitely make or break like how far you can progress. And it must be so tricky to decide, because when you're on the wall you just have seconds to decide whether you're going to clip it there or keep going. And sometimes you do make the wrong choice, but that's still a pretty good finish position for Thea. Yeah, only beaten so far by Zoe. Meanwhile, so that'll be top 5 for her. Yeah, well done Thea. Go on. Meanwhile, Sam is still fighting his way up, making the most of that heel there, which is what he needs, as these holds are pretty small. Nice, and he's really making the most of those crimps being on the volumes, able to pinch them a little bit. Come on, Sam. Oh, nice, and he gets that clip in, which is super important, because I think if you go beyond this point, as we've seen before, Sam looking pumped, but still in control, and I feel like we're about to see him really start to climb as efficiently as possible. Oh, those drop knees are good, and you can hear the crowd beneath him. Come on, Sam! And we've got a new high point. We do have a new high point. Sam's starting to shake a little bit, but come on, Sam! He's in the red. Come on. Come on, Sam! Really good catch from Sam here. And he is screaming! Come on, Sam! Keep screaming! Come on, Sam! And another hold. Oh, brilliant effort. And he's super psyched with that. It's so nice to see that reaction. Oh, that was a great. When he comes off and he knows that was an amazing effort. And that is what climbing is all about. When you see someone come out and they just put so much into it, and they are able to leave so much on the wall. This is the best of comp climbing, when you've got one moment to make it count, and you manage to pull it off. And so well done, Sam. That was an incredible fight. That is one to remember, I'm sure. And we're about to have our last 3 competitors from the British League Champs 2025. It's crazy. You blink and these things are over. Little replay there of Thea making that clip. She did make it work, but just totally zapped that right bicep. She was in a full lock, and this is a really steep wall.
Yeah, also seeing a replay of where Sam fell on his effort. He just didn't have enough in his forearms to kind of adjust where his feet were, and so he just was out of balance, swooping over for that sloper at the top.
And we have our next athletes out. We have Lucy Garlick and Reese Connellan.
Yeah, quite a young pair. But both relatively experienced. They've both been to quite a lot of European Youth Cups and Internationals, and Lucy has also started competing at World Cups as well.
And they will be wanting to secure their places in their international calendar for this year. Lucy proving to us that she is a lead climber as well as a brilliant boulderer.
Reese finished 5th place at the Youth World Championships in lead last year, so that's an incredible result. To make a final at a World Youth Championships is, yeah, such an amazing achievement. So I think we can expect good things of Reese here on the lead wall.
Absolutely, but you know, it's a tough field.
It is a tough field.
But these athletes, you know, do what they do best and push each other.
Yeah, the tougher the better, really.
Yeah.
It just brings out the best in all of our athletes.
Absolutely.
And you want the field to be stacked. You want it to really matter and like count if you win that title.
Reese there, just giving his hands a little warm up, compose himself, get some blood back to those forearms. And Lucy also looking pretty chilled on this crimped first section. She'll like that. Nice, Lucy. She's looking nice and calm. I'm feeling nice and chill watching her, actually.
Yeah.
No stress, which is what we like to see. Just keep doing this to the top, please.
Going for the more powerful method on this again move to the yellow.
Lucy's a super powerful climber, really good at coordination and jumps.
And sometimes it's just better to climb things in your style.
Absolutely, yeah, play to your strengths. We've seen a lot of that so far.
Reese choosing some really nice clipping positions here, really utilising those heel and toe hooks and clipping off of a straight arm, which we love to see.
And Lucy has got to this same section where she now needs to make that clip, and she's made it work with the heel, which is great to see. That is, you know, good intuition from her there. We didn't know if that was possible, and she's shown us that it is.
I think, yeah, having a bit more space between her and the wall allowed her the space to make that clip, but yeah, just also a little bit too pumped to make that quite long go again move, and it is blocked as well.
Yeah, I think you've got to be super accurate, which means having a little bit of more juice than she might have had in that right kind of shoulder and forearm, but I hope she's still really happy with her performance, because yeah, that was great to watch. Meanwhile, Reese is still looking pretty cash. He's having some shakeouts, he's getting through the crimp. Ooh,
starting to struggle a little bit, but that is quite a difficult move. Let's see if he can just keep fighting through this techie section.
Oh,
he's looking at the clip. Will he clip? No.
Oh, and a bit of a...
and he's frustrated.
Yeah, but still a fantastic effort. I hope he's happy with that. And it looks like a section where you kind of need to really twist in between the feet and between the volumes and get that clip in.
We've seen quite a lot of tricky clips today, and I think like that's not unusual. That is definitely part of elite lead climbing. It all has to be tricky. Whether that's the climbing, you know, getting onto the route, the moves themselves, the pacing, and of course the clips.
There's no room for kind of any chill really anywhere. And it's something that can be maybe hard to train as well, like often on commercial routes, the clips on, you know, if you're commercially route setting, and even there was a particularly horrible clip, you'd probably get asked to change it. So it is tricky when then in comps suddenly all the clips are really strenuous, and if you don't find the right position, you're probably not going to make it.
Yeah, and a lot of these athletes will be training on a spray wall or doing circuits, and so they might not be practicing those uncomfortable positions, or they might just be, you know, doing circuits without set feet and just getting used to sitting on their heels whenever they need to. And so something to think about maybe. But with this facility opening up here in Manchester, hopefully we'll have some great routes like this set from yours truly. Maybe. And the athletes will get to practice becoming comfortable with discomfort, which is just how I would sum up competitive lead climbing.
And just be able to push that kind of like the level of lead climbing in the country. Next up, we have Hannah Kerr, who put in a brilliant effort on the semi-final route. I think she was the
I think that was a highlight, a standout performance of the semi-final round.
She just was like, kind of like had a brilliant pace and really made a route that quite a few other climbers made hard. Like, she made it look easy.
Definitely, and now I can say that Hannah made 2 junior European Cup finals
you are
last year.
Correct now, Molly.
I'm now correct. Hannah was on the wall. I'm very sorry, Thea, earlier. And semi-finals at World Youth Champs and semi-finals at the European Youth Championships in France last year. So she has been very successful internationally, and it's great to see it also translating into this national competition.
Absolutely. And we have Fred Williams.
Also a little bit of a dark horse, I'd say.
Hannah.
Fred.
Oh, Fred. No, we've got double dark horse. Yeah.
Although saying that, he won the Junior British Bouldering Championships last year. He was second at Junior British Lead Climbing Championships. So, I mean, he's transitioning into the seniors superbly.
Yeah, absolutely. Both put in great performances earlier, both obviously qualifying in second, but still just the way they climbed things really made them stand out as such kind of like strong but also clever climbers. We see Fred actually making this bit look slightly less efficient than the other climbers, hanging on one arm for a moment there. Come on, Fred, get two on. Although at least you know, perhaps like you can compose yourself for a second here.
Yeah, it's still early on in the route, so hopefully he's not used up too much energy getting to this point.
Hannah not wasting any energy at all. There, dangling on 2 arms, just getting her feet across, which is great to see. A little bit of a chalk up. Starting to struggle a little bit, perhaps.
Yeah, this is a big, powerful move. Let's see how she tackles it. I think this is the best way on.
No, when we see a drop there from
didn't quite have the power to get through that move.
Oh, that is a real shame. I feel like she had so much more to give on that route. That high heel, maybe not quite the best to opt for, but well, meanwhile,
we're still with Fred.
Yeah, Fred's doing some climbing. He's looking chill, which is great to see. But we all know that it can change quite quickly on this route.
Yeah, this route really kicks in as soon as we hit this black section. And Fred is just about to experience that.
Some slight little shakes in the legs, but that does not mean that he can't carry on climbing nice and high up this wall. There's one thing that these climbers are good at, it is fighting when they get pumped.
Oh, and we just lose Fred on that tricky move upwards.
And he popped for that crimp and just didn't quite
yeah,
match it.
I think he was just a bit too tired to bring his feet up.
Maybe they both climbed too well.
Used a bit too much energy up in the semi-final round, but both still incredibly young athletes with so much more time left in their careers, and just great to see them on this stage.
Yeah, regardless, they should both be super proud of themselves. And just like that, we move on to our last climbers of this year's final. And we've got a couple of big names in the house.
Definitely, I think the favourites are out.
Yeah.
Double Olympians, Olympic finalist Erin McNeice and Olympic champion Toby Roberts.
And they're going to come out and they're going to show us why they were Olympians.
Yeah, I think so far they've both topped all 3 routes they've been faced with this championship.
And I wonder if they're going to, you know, like Toby, the style that he did that semi-final in was like, he just made it look easy. And so I'm really intrigued to see how both him and Erin make these routes look in comparison. Erin has said that her favourite climbing moment from 2024 was climbing the Olympic finals.
And you might be able to hear that these two are definitely crowd favourites.
Erupted for our champions. They might not be champions yet, but they are champions of the hearts of this crowd and just of the climbing community in this country in general.
Now, Toby may be Olympic champion, but I'm not sure he's picked up the title of British champion yet for lead.
Ah, okay, interesting. And hey, I mean, I'd be surprised if he wasn't here to bag it tonight, but you know, never say never.
Erin, on the other hand, has already been British lead climbing champion. And I'm sure she'll be looking to add to that collection and be the double.
Absolutely, yeah. She is already our British boulder champion of 2025. She really looked kind of like set apart from the field a couple of weeks ago and just made so many of the boulders look easy. And I can tell you from personal experience, they were not.
Yeah, she had 4 flashes in the final.
Yeah, it was,
if I remember correctly.
Quite the show.
So maybe she'll close out this lead championships with another perfect score.
I don't want to jinx it, but I think we're in for a good chance of seeing that again.
Looking more relaxed than she did at the beginning of the semi-final route, I'd say, and yeah, just slowly making her way up, having a little look around for the time, I think.
She wants to see who's watching.
Yeah, only everyone.
Yeah, don't worry, Erin, we're all here watching.
Erin has timed out at a few competitions in the last year or two, so I think she's probably got that on her mind, especially when the routes are a little easier maybe. It's easy to just take your time because you kind of want to conserve as much energy and not get too pumped because you know you can get to the top.
And when you can as well,
style.
when you can hang around on those holds, you know, so many of those holds like are hard to hold, let alone just hang around on them, and that just shows the strength that, I mean, Erin and Toby have. They both have the ability to just hang on these tiny holds in really quite strenuous positions. And a cut there from Toby, but I mean, if you can, why not?
Yeah, looking very casual. Same for Erin on that little jump shoulder move.
Looking good, yeah, in that hero position. And gets that clip in, which we know is a good thing to get done before you enter this potentially like trickier move. I'm sure Erin will have no problem.
Oh, very snatchy. And I think that was another case of, yeah, the rope getting in the way, but she got lucky there. And let's hope that that's not, you know, thrown her too much. I'm sure she's already reset. She looks pretty chilled.
Yeah, she looks chilled, checking the time again. Toby's making the most of those little shakes between the holds, but also looking fairly chill, riding that heel. We know he's good on a heel. And I think he will like these crimps coming up.
Yeah, I think we're about to get into what I would call Toby's style of best style of climbing.
That's the head wall.
The head wall, yes, to the top.
We know he loves a head wall. Look at that, getting that clip in. He just looks so casual. And Erin also looking casual on some crimps there. Having to fight a tiny bit.
Yeah, definitely having to try. And she's left her feet quite low, but
but it's fine because she can just cut and she doesn't need the feet. And the same from Toby. Come on.
Erin definitely looking like she's struggling. I think it's
maybe in a little bit of trouble here from Erin.
Oh, and she had to fight to hold that, but she is in.
Come on, Erin. Come on, Toby. And we're seeing this final move here from Toby. We know that he's got to commit to it. Both climbers have got to commit. Oh, Toby sticks it and Erin just comes off. What a moment for the finals at the British League Championships. But these are our winners.
What a show.
What a show. This pair just keep on giving.
Yeah, I think Erin was a little disappointed there. She would have liked to have finished with a perfect score. But, I mean, she's the British champion now.
Come on, Erin, you got to be happy with that. That was great.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly was an entertaining climb for us to watch. I loved watching it. And Toby just doing what Toby does best. He loves to close out a competition with a top, doesn't he?
And if you can't hear it, the crowd are giving these two a big round of applause, and they both absolutely deserve it. And what a final.
I know, I can't believe that's it.
Once it starts, it just absolutely flies by.
Yeah, we had some surprising successes. We had some surprising, maybe slightly earlier falls.
And it's climbing, hey?
That is climbing. And here we've got a little replay of Erin on that final move. I think there's a lot of excitement with Toby about to top, and she, just came into match. And I think maybe had she just gone straight for the top hold.
Yeah.
Just
totally.
kind of lost balance a little bit. Two hands on the same hold.
And they're just going to confirm that there's no appeals, and then I'm sure we will have the scores on the screen in no time. And there we have it, our final scores from our final here in the Depot Manchester for the British League Champs.
They're not quite in the right order. They are in the order that people qualified for the final in, which is why the scores might not be, and the order is a bit off.
Yeah.
But we definitely have Erin McNeice and Toby Roberts as our British lead climbing champions. The rest of the results have gone from the screen, but I'm pretty sure we have Zoe Petermans as and Sam Butterworth as our vice champions.
Yeah, they both put in a stellar fight and well deserved those positions. We're just gearing up for the podium here.
Okay, before we start off with our under-17s podium, ladies and gentlemen, give a hand to the PMC CEO, Paul Ratcliffe. Thank you. Good evening, everybody. I hope we've had a wonderful weekend and enjoyed the finals today. And what a spectacle it's been from all the athletes that have competed. So thank you very much for your very kind, warm, and brilliant crowd that you've been. I just wanted to spend a few minutes to say a few thank yous, because these events aren't possible. It's a whole team behind the scenes that put these events on. So one of the things that makes the events is the whole routes that you see set up here. And this takes that whole team behind the scenes that have been doing it this whole last week. So Matt, and the team, thank you very much for all the incredible hard work. To all the judges, the volunteers, for making this event such a fair event, for all the incredible expertise that goes into the judging, the volunteers. The BMC can't operate with all their events without all the hard-working volunteers, the hours and hours that you put in for the BMC and the sport. Just so from me, on behalf of the whole BMC, thank you very much to everybody that supported this event. Next, to all our partners you see on the wall, from Security, Rock City, Hotel Plan and Revive, but also to our stakeholders at UK Sport and Sport England. Again, the BMC is fortunate to have partnerships that help and support us, and this event has been a huge event on our calendar as we start to build towards LA 2028. So thank you very much to all our partners that have put this event on. We've got an incredibly hard-working staff team, but there's one person in particular, so I'd like to thank all my staff at the BMC, but Zoe Spriggins, she's hiding somewhere. Zoe, thank you very much. She helps support all the YCS events, all the national events. She's on the IFSC Europe. She kind of runs the world as well a little bit. So Zoe, thank you very much. We've had some brilliant coaches that have been working with all the athletes. We've got some incredible coaches within the community and employed within our staff that are helping support all the brilliant athletes that you see coming through. And so that brings me to the last and the most important people, is the athletes. We're all here today because of all the brilliant athletes that have been on the show. Whether the athletes have won or lost today, they've all put their hearts and souls into preparing for these events. And I just want to give us all a huge round of applause to all the incredible athletes that hand back over to the professionals. So thank you very much, everybody.
BNC, Dan James, General Manager of Big Depot Manchester, and Ollie Cohn from USA Climbing.
And here we have our final scores of the evening, with our winners, our podium there you can see, and just missing out on third place on countback there, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, the same for Jamie Jenkins in the men's side of things, but there are your results. We have Toby Roberts, Sam Butterworth, Reece Conlon, Erin McNeese, Zoe Petermans and Lucy Garlick as our podium athletes for this British League Climbing Championships.
And here you see them receiving their well-earned prizes.
But this is our under-17 podium. We had Louis Cooley in third place, Tom Buchnecht in second, and we're about to see our winner, Isaac Sutton. The only top of that yellow and purple route. An amazing effort from him.
Absolutely, he should be well proud of himself.
Put on a great show for this wonderful crowd here in Manchester. Well done to all of those athletes, but in particular to these three young men.
Yeah. They're all squeezing onto that, for a
That's
spot.
some big shoulders for a small space. Now moving on to our under-17 female podium.
We have Seren Wills, who climbed calmly the whole way up through every single one of her qualifiers, semi-finals and final routes. And in second place we have Bella Walsh. Oh no, sorry.
We have Bella Ryder.
Isabella Rinaldi.
As our British League Climbing Champion, she got the double.
Go on, Iggy. And she performed amazingly on that route. And congratulations to those athletes. They climbed their hearts out. And that is our under-17s female podium for 2025. George doing some texting there midway through his commentary.
George has been an absolutely fantastic MC for the whole of the weekend. It's a long day for George, long 2 days for George, and he's been fantastic at getting the crowd hyped and creating such an amazing atmosphere for all of these athletes to compete in. So now we have our senior male podium. As we said earlier, in third place we have Reece Conlon. Great effort from this young man.
Absolutely.
And he looks pretty psyched, which is nice to see.
Yeah. That's what we want to see. We want to see lots of climbing and happy athletes.
And in second place we have Sam Butterworth, who put in an absolutely insane fight on that final rope.
A fight of 2025 for sure.
Yeah, screaming his way up. He came real close to Toby, reaching the third to last hold, but our British League climbing champion for 2025 is the Olympic champion, Toby Roberts.
He is golden boy.
Adding medals to his collection.
Absolutely.
And there he is. What a great event. So good to have the Olympic champion competing against the rest of the talent that we have in the UK, and it being so competitive.
Absolutely, and the rest of the talent just showing up and being like, look, you know, we are also strong, we are also capable climbers.
Yeah, you're going to have to work for it, Toby.
Yeah, we are going to be biting at your heels. And look at those smiles, those are some happy boys.
Yeah, great
so
podium there. Totally.
And then they all have to squeeze together. And Toby's going to have a quick interview there with our MC George.
What we say, top of the podium, how does that feel today?
It feels really good. I'm happy with how I got in the finals, and just good to be back in the leading position.
good fight at the top of that head wall. How did you feel doing that dino right at the top of the wall?
It was a little bit sketchy, but I just had to, you all those moves, you sort of pretty commit, so I'm happy that I was able to just go for it. But I think that's like it.
Good, it was full set mode. What's the plan now? Are we heading back out to Spain yet?
No, I've abandoned that. I'm back to training now, so I'm excited to get ready for the season, and yeah, just really looking forward to going and competing again on the World Cups.
Good stuff. Well, lots of comps coming up. Ladies and gentlemen, give them a massive round of applause. Tony Roberts! Lovely. Okay, are we ready for the girls? Yes. Fantastic. So let's have a massive round of applause in your third place, Lucy Garlick!
And here we have the podium for the just senior women, and Lucy Garlick in third place.
In second place, Zoe Peterman!
And in second place, we have Zoe Peterman, who put in a stunning effort on that final route. She was very close to Erin. She definitely made Erin work for it as well, and I really hope to see her at some World Cups this year.
For sure. And she needs very little introduction. We have our first place with Erin McNeice. So close to topping that final route.
Yeah, pretty unstoppable all weekend, really.
And what an amazing effort from this podium and all of the other climbers. In this final, semi-finals and qualification, we saw so much, so many try-hards going on. And that is it for the BLCC's 2025.
That is a wrap. So I think we'll sign off here.
We'll sign off there, yeah.
Thank you very much for listening to us chit-chat away on the mic.
It's been an absolute pleasure from our part.
Yeah, we hope you've enjoyed it as much as we have. It's been such a treat to see these athletes climb so well, and we look forward to next year.
Yeah, get training, everyone. Here it comes, 2026.
Yeah. Thank you very much, everyone.
See you later. Bye.
Yeah, didn't really stop training, so just straight back into it tomorrow, and
Good to see you, and I know that because I've seen Erin have the longest training sessions I've ever seen anyone do. 8 hours solid non-stop.